Good. Greetings and salutation, guys. Welcome into day 2 of the Scarlet I-League Invitational. As mentioned, I'm AC. To my side, of course, Ryu. First time we've had a chance to broadcast together, my friend. Really excited to get going. And a really interesting draft and a great series to get things going for us as well. We're talking CIS Showdown right now. As they mentioned, the fact that one of these two teams popular here in the hometown are going to be going home. Tell me your first thoughts when you look at the draft and how things are going to end up looking as they play out on the map.
Well, me and Fall were kind of discussing it off the screen here, as you kind of can see. They need a lot of levels on VP's lineup here early on. So if, Vega, they can start getting their levels, put a lot of aggression out with their Enchantress early. We can see them being around the map constantly with their Beastmaster, with their Spectre, and it could be a very short game, and I think Vega could take it.
I think we're ready to jump on in as we've got both teams hanging around. Looked like there's going to be some poking and some prodding on that little bit of a retreat now. But again, beautiful stage here in the arena. And if you happen to be nearby, make sure you come on by. A lot of great Dota left to go, as well as a great atmosphere for here for any esports fan. So you missed it as they were kind of poking around. It looked like maybe we were going to see Vega cross the river and try to do something, but did not take place. The horn will sound, and as we see picks up the runes, we'll take a look at who's going to be handling who. No one will be happy to take one bounty rune, and it'll be G on the Wind Ranger who takes the others. So starting with Vega, Dazzle, going to be handled by Salma. I did learn how to say it for today, thank goodness, and thanks to Ryu for helping me nail down my pronunciation before that. We're going to have Solo playing on the Enchantress. Puck's going to be handled by No One. The Spectre played by FN, and the Beastmaster handled by Mag out in the off lane for Virtus Pro. FNG is going to be on the Prophet. He's on the Dire side off lane. Yoku going to be playing on Ursa, farming up in the safe lane top. G's going to be taking the Wind Ranger mid as mentioned. It's going to be Aloha Dance starting out in the jungle as the Doom, and that 5 support Lion played by No Fear.
What they wanted to do, both teams would ideally kind of block off both these camps around here, and they would like to have it for the Beastmaster as well as the Enchantress, as well as the greedy Doom that we talk about, if you could block out those camps early. But No Fear is just getting punished right now, and that's just the problem. You're going to see how effective Beastmaster is going to be against kiting this Ursa. So picking an Ursa into a Beastmaster, it's kind of questionable when you have all that slow, but we're going to have to see if they can make it work here.
So, the offense where we're going to have to keep an eye on. Like you said, Mag is playing ultra aggressive and is one of the more aggressive, and if we're honest, one of the more effective offlaners in Dota today. But let's talk briefly about this mid matchup, my friend. This is a bit of a throwback. Puck, has been seeing a bit more play now, and it's a lot of fun to see such a high skill cap hero come back into the meta. And then the Wind Ranger, who, as mentioned by the panel, has kind of been out of things. How do you see this playing out, and what do you think is going to be important on both sides?
I like the Wind Ranger pickup for one reason, and that's the Enchantress going to be maybe rotating around constantly, and you can see she's already having a net creep. If you have 2 of those, maybe that's going to nullify the win run here. But at the same time, Puck, it's about as even as you can get it in the mid lane. It's kind of like against that, it's going to get very aggressive here, trading the blows. And you just see it's kind of like the Puck versus the Queen of Pain as we talked about yesterday. It all comes down to that rune that first rune, and they're going to be contesting it here.
But it will be picked up by the Doom, so Aloha Dance taking that away from Mag. Mag's going to give him a few pats on the back as he chases him into the jungle. He may keep going here. He is quite low. He does have Scorched Earth. If he gets too panicked, and he's going to have to use him. He's still taking a lot of damage. He does devour the boar. Still a lot of damage. Here comes FNG. First blood likely to be on the way. No, manages around the corner. And let's see, can Mag catch him? He's got boots, so does the Doom. The boar's right there. Got one more shot on him, but he is under his own tier.
Meanwhile, the lane, they're going to be wrapping around onto the G. He's going to get caught nice body blocks.
Oh, there's the net and the follow-up as No One's going to be the one to drive together. First, now at the top, Mag. Gone down. He's trying to make a run now in the wrong direction. He's going to end up dropping, so very quickly things get hairy on both sides. 1-1 now, all knotted up.
Yeah, but they were supposed to rotate 4 heroes up there, AC, just to kill a Beastmaster. Oh, man, that's well worth it for Vega Squadron there, and shutting down the mid, as we talked about. That's the tempo controller for both teams, and No One's going to have a really nice start here.
Yeah, like I was wondering if this is going to be another one of those games where you see the mid-game aggression, you see how things can get active early, but maybe it's just status quo for a little while. Instead, both teams being willing to jump around the map and make something happen. Big beneficiary there is a Spectre now leading in CS, just a few on top of the Ursa, but the Enchantress, as you mentioned, is really looking good with farm. Already level 4, just Dingwood is gone with a 1-1-1 build. We'll see where that next point does end up going, but the boots are coming out across the board. It's going to be a set of phase boots for Ursa and Doom picking up his tranks.
It's really nice that Enchantress kind of like stacked the jungle there with the Wildrun, and Spro's been able to get a lot, so this will help him transition into some items like drums or anything to help out his team, and then even to, you know, in the later game with the Dragon Lance as well as the Ag, so they can have a potential another carry alongside their Spectre since he went for this, you know, ultra farm early on, and he had got a gank in the mid lane, so playing really well right now.
Yeah, this should be a pretty quiet bottom lane, at least until we see any kind of pressure come out of Virtus Pro. What do you think is going to be the most important for VP here? I mean, they've got this Ursa Warrior. We know Fuzzy Wuzzy is able to really put the screws to you if he wants to, if he builds that way, and if they just take that approach. Is that going to be more important, or is it going to be more important for, oh, hang on, there's going to be a stun. Those two already bursted way down, tried to heal up to it, not able to do so. Solo, taking quite a bit of damage with the Nature's Attendants keeping him up and fighting. Yoku making a run for his tier 1, and a little bit of damage, not quite enough. The Axis were on cooldown. Maybe with the Axis he could have gotten enough damage to bring it down. Instead, remains just a 1-for-0 trade as Vega now leads 2-1.
It's the problem when you see this Enchantress that can just do everything, and Aloha, he's kind of forced to use his Devour, but if Enchantress just brings, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 creeps, it's so hard to counterplay, and then you just see how effective Mag is kiting just with a level 2 board there, and so I'm very worried for VP. They just have to get their levels up and make sure they don't feed. So right now, 2-1 score. I think it's going to favor VP a little bit right now.
Yeah, VP. I mean, the VP is currently trailing about 1,100 gold, and usually that's not an amount you make a big deal out of. But at just 5 minutes, it kind of is, especially with the Spectre sitting on top for Vega as well. So VP, I think, is going to be feeling a little pressure. Now Aloha Dance shows himself. But if you're VP, what's the move now? You know, we're 5 minutes in. It's a good time to get aggressive. You're on Dire's side, maybe thinking of invading the Radiant jungle. What's the approach?
They're just going to have to counterplay. They can't play aggressive at all until they get their levels. I mean, maybe Furion, if he can TP in and they can get a kill on no one if he plays very aggressive in the mid lane. Else that I'm not seeing where they can get a kill. Maybe if, you know, Mag oversteps his boundaries in top lane, but it's going to be all on Vega putting the pressure here early on, and we're going to have to see if this first pawn is going to be successful because FN just got his level 6.
Level 6. Yep, there's a coil. Mag's right there with it. He is not level 6. Doesn't have it. We're not going to need it. As that's going to be another kill going the direction of Vega and this Wind Ranger. 0-2 to start this game, so rough going for VP.
It's just really nice so far. No one is stepping up their game, as well as Vega just rotating around the map, and talked about it in the draft. Very greedy. They need levels, and well, I really want somebody to pick up this face rune. I mean, that last gank was set up by no one with the double damage that allowed him to have the DPS when he was keeping out. Else, he wouldn't have been able to kill him. Now he's going to have a haste rune to work with AC. Oh, man, this guy is just going to be on fire.
Let's see. He's going to battle it and save it. He just picked up his treads. No. Looks like he's going to head right back to lane. Hasn't procced it yet. And but definitely a lot of potential to get aggressive. Worth mentioning the Prophet, who largely has been zoned. He's been just kind of poking and prodding around. Not the best CS, sitting at 17, but he is coming up on level 6. So FNG's done a good job even sprouts in FN just to get a little bit of extra damage and make things a little more complicated. Now, though, this top lane has been all but abandoned to
I got that. Oh, we got the nice Haitian scouting him out. Trying to figure out if there was a creep, maybe it was this little wild wing, maybe it scouted him out, or trying to figure out how no one knew he was there.
Yep.
Nice game sense.
Well, 4-1 now. And it looks like VP has got to do something, man. I know you just said the aggression's not really an option, but I mean, is it just maybe try to sneak a Roche and try to get back some momentum, because they're now at 2,500 gold at 8 minutes. I mean, that is considerable.
All their initiation is kind of with the Lion plus the Doom, and they need their levels to have that burst damage, and it's all coming out in, like Ursa right now. He needs to start getting those levels so he can have more impact with his overpower. And yeah, if you go off the map, it's going to be very obvious when you do Roche, and they have a lot of things to scout it out with the Enchantress creeps, with the Beastmaster Hawk. So Roche for VP, they're only going to get it if they win a big team fight.
Now, Puck just got himself a regen rune, so going to allow him to stay out on the map at least for a bit longer. We can see the Beastmaster's Hawk being chased down by No Fear.
Oh my god, look at No Fear's items too.
Oh man, looks like me when I play Lion. Playing the 6th position. But yeah, this is, I mean, when you look, he's got exactly 1 CS, by the way. Kind of guy that makes a PPD 5 position look rich.
No, this is not good. When you don't have your boots initiation for the Lions, like, you're going to have to bank on all the smokes or maybe a sprout to hold in the enemy. But yeah, Vega are doing a nice job just kind of farming up their levels. They're just taking it easy now after they use their ultimates with the Spectre, farming up a bit. They got the Urn online. They got the level 6 on the Enchantress talked about. That's going to help out with the DPS. And they're just getting all the items right now for Vega. I'm very worried for VP. And I just don't see an opportunity for them to get kills without their ultimates on these 2 supports.
No, I think you're 100% right. The more I look at it, I mean, that's got to be terrifying, too. You know, the Beastmaster is now level 7. He showed himself, so I mean, obviously they've seen the Roar is going to be ready and available if they decide to try and smoke and do something with it. The Enchantress is level 7. Looking all across the board, yeah, and this is, I think, the play. VP smoking 3. They just finished the Mask of Madness on Ursa. I don't think it was spotted, and they're going to go ahead and head into the Roche pit and just hope it's not noticed. Well, are they actually going to go for a gank instead? Yeah, looks like that is spread out.
It's because that Hawk, they just ate the Hawks, and then they immediately went in. But they know that's just textbook. You can't go for that's the only play they can make right now for VP, and it's very worrisome. They're all grouped up here.
Oh, Dazzle's level 7 as well, by the way. I didn't even mention him. Deshaun tossed down a nice weave. That's going to make it very difficult for Virtus Pro to fight into anything. I mean, yes, Ursa could just chew through your heroes, but if you manage to prioritize the weave on your own heroes, I mean, that armor makes a huge difference in the burst potential. So, looks like they're ready to take tier 1 bottom now. Is this something you think VP can respond to?
No, you're just going to have to split push, get as many levels as you can right now for the enemy. VP at least going to be harassing a lot. They can do the deep push nice and effectively with the Wrath of Nature as well as the power shots constantly. And he has the arcane room to work with here for G, but fighting 5v5 is a no-go right now.
That's been leading the way. Level 8 for him. Drums. Just about done. And they will go ahead and use the grip, just buying time, as you had mentioned. This is giving them some time to get some things together, though. Looks like a little Hot Dance will be grabbing the mech, as he's already picked up the buckler to go with his strengths. I was going to ask about this Nature's Prophet. What do you think the build is here? He's picked up the bracer with the full wand again. Saw that yesterday. I actually really dig it. Makes him a little bit more survivable against early aggression. But what's the transition there from him?
For Aloha?
Yep.
A lot of times it's weird to say, because if you have Mechanism online for the Doom, then you don't have enough mana for a lot of your spells, but they get to mid lane. That initiation on No Fear is really caught out. That's just the unveiling of the blink, and then they're going to be pushing. But back to the question at hand, it's more so they get it for the armor, and there's a lot of physical DPS coming out from Vega Squadron in this game. So he might just want to help buff up his allies with that armor in these team fights, especially when you're going against his weave.
Yep. What about the Furion? I was actually referring to Furion in particular. As my bad. I got my mixed up. But yeah, what do you think the approach from Furion here?
It's going to be very difficult for him because he wants to go for the jumps to help out with the movement speed for his allies, but afterwards he would ideally like to get, you know, an Orchid or something to shut down the puck, but with no one having such an amazing start, he's going to have his rules at a fast time. So you can't really go for that early Orchid to shut down the puck anymore, and they're just going to have to maybe split push with Ags now, I think, on F&G.
Looks like we might have a fight down here in the pit. As VP's showing if there's going to be a spread on the solo. Shackles there. David simply is going to finger as well, but there's no follow-up. So now that's on cooldown, and now we're going to reinitiate. There's going to be a roar on the F&G. He's going to be brought down. The rest of VP is sent running. And let's see if they can actually catch him. No one's going to be hexed out, but solo there. And that's a lot of damage coming out of that Enchantress. So VP once again knocking on the door of Roche's pit, sit packing, and that's a 7-1 lead now for Vega as they have built up a 4,000 gold, 4,000 experience lead, and we're just at 12 minutes, ready to take a tier 1 mid as well.
I'm scared because they didn't even use Coil during that fight. They didn't even use Haunt. VP has no answers right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Rio. It looked like there's just what I didn't sense that there was a big game plan on how to initiate.
Yeah, it's like, what do? You need Blink Dagger on your Ursa, and then when he's running in with a Mask of Madness, he's just going to get, you know, roared constantly. They don't have anything to help him when he gets roared either. Like, you don't have that Oracle that the panelists talked about a lot,
right,
that you would love to take off. You don't have a Vengeful Swap to work with. It's just very hard right now for VP to do anything.
Taking a look at net worth. Puck is atop the board, actually. It's 6,800. Spectre right there. Below him, it is a little bit closer between the Spectre and the Ursa than I would have thought. And G's Wind Ranger actually doing quite well, sitting at number 4. But all in all, you can see the separation taking place. And a big part of that 4,000 gold lead we're talking about is the separation between the Dazzle and the Lion, which is just about 2,000 on its own. So Lion, you know, a hero who's going to be able to output damage with level 6, but you know, Vega's going to outscale that before long in terms of their own levels, in terms of how really lethal that feels. And with no blink, that initiation is not going to be helped at all, and he's a million years away from a Blink Dagger.
They just need to split push as effectively as they can, but they're already defending these towers, and when you're not getting them as VP, you're just not getting any gold.
Yoku spotted out. There was a reason went into the pit. They're going to be responding to this. Maybe. That's the word.
They have Haunt. He could steal here. FN. Is he going to drop anything? I'm checking him right now.
Oh, that's it. It's the Haunt. And nope. Yes, they got him there. A little bit engaged up in the map. Through the trees. F&G caught, but the 3-man crew are going to follow it up. They have to fight the Ursa, though. Shackle shots there. FN has been doomed to eat a lot of damage from G. Is it enough? It will be. This is a big win for VP if they're able to make it away. Nope, they already lost the Aegis, so not the best situation. That Shackle as a latch. They can try to pursue them. 2-man lead with a Low dance and G are looking for home. Nope, Enchantress is there. Follow-ups there. Lowhawk's trying to use the trees. No! Brought down. That's a double kill for Solo's Enchantress. It did cost Oates for the Aegis. He had saw it as well. So VP manages to get a little work done, but all in all, that fight coming out in favor of Vega.
I mean, at the end of the day, you just want to get rid of the Aegis. That's all that VP have going for them, is when they can have that and potentially take a team fight on their terms, but not having it now they can't, and this is just looking very bad for VP. And Vega did a really nice job there, and so getting as many kills as you can on Yoku is going to help out a lot. He needs to get that Blink Dagger, but essentially he needs to have... It's very hard to say what he needs this game because, one, BKB is not going to help you with that piercing roar AC, so it's like, maybe it's the Ags. I think this game is where you can have Ags, so with the change to that with the Ursa, you can immediately, when you get roared, you ulti, you take it off, so... Yep. But the problem still will be the kiting with this Beastmaster.
He's got a fair amount of gold, and looks like Courier just got sniped somewhere. Is that correct? Or is that a bug on my screen?
No, Courier did die, I think, the Radiant one.
Yeah.
Too bad I can't highlight it. Dakota's Taki sucks.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I can't find it either. Either way, yes, Courier died, nothing on it, but still. Another win for Virtus Pro there as they're continuing to hold this, and Michigan City looking at the golden experience. They have leveled off, so they got to stop the bleeding. Here we go, they're going to engage. No one in some trouble. Will use his Yules, got it right before this fight. Now this is going to be your roar. Oh, beautiful core coming out of the spaceship. Oh, the shadow with a good damn Mag. Going to be caught with the Grave Yoku, being guarded, being brought down by Solar's Enchantress, who is dominating this game. That's 3-0 as Vega erases whatever comfort zone VP had built, and now they're marching down mid lane. Tier 2 seems to be the target.
Yeah, this is just a no-one show. Everybody sit back and relax. I'm at O Park right now, just showing off, teaching Miracle how it's done, but he's just having a blast right now for no one.
Such a funny way to watch, man. I'm so happy to see this hero being played as frequently as he is now.
And it's just showing you how well he can do it. I mean, props to him. I think Puck is just one of those heroes that just show how really, individually skilled a player can be. He can just get in and out of things, mechanically skilled-wise. Sure enough, it's going to be a really nice game for him. And then you might have to consider banning it out next game for no one, because this is one of the things about no one. He only plays Puck and Queen of Pain absolutely perfectly all the times when you watch him.
Drums out on the Enchantress now. Dragonlance, of course, in the inventory with it. Dazzle's picked up a Staff of Wizardry. We'll see what direction he wants to go with that. Again, no one having picked up that Yules just before.
I mean, if he picks up a Dagon, it's like, get out of my game, guys. You've already won. But that should be a 4-staff.
Looks like the Mantis coming out after the Urn Drums opening from the Spectre. Nothing particularly odd about that. Book is up. And yeah, they're going to go ahead and upgrade the book. I was wondering, we saw yesterday a couple of instances of going book 1 then blink instead, just going straight up for book upgrades after that. How do you feel about that? What's your thoughts on it's a small thing, but we have seen it make a big difference.
Yeah, when they lack initiation, you normally want to have that blink dagger early, but because they have no one, they have FN here playing this amazing Spectre, they have all the initiation they really need, so building up the book 3 is going to help out a lot when they just want to go for those solo pickoffs if he wants to around the map.
So how about you be Captain Ryu now? You're sitting in... I don't think captaining him anymore. Yeah, I don't think you want this to happen, Captain. Next to drop, that's... Oh, wow.
This ship is sinking, AC.
Just a bit. As Vega really bouncing back, we saw... yesterday, I mean, I think the panel was correct in saying that Vega had to come into this as the favorite. They really took it to LGD. It was a great series, a lot of fun to catch. I was actually on now one in the play-by-play, and it was great play. Yoku, I mean, just look how unbelievably quick Yoku died. Solo just, oh my God, he almost two-shot, no fear.
Like 693 HP, and he's so slow. It's
like he literally almost two-shot him. But yeah, Vega showing why they came in as the favorite. They're playing good Dota. They just ran into a tough LGD team yesterday, and if you're Virtus Pro, I mean, you always want to say never say die and play to the Ancients Den, what have you. You have to at least somewhat be looking ahead to what went wrong here and what you can correct for next game.
Right.
Is part of it just don't give him Enchantress? Is that just part of the answer?
Well, you can understand why this hero was kind of like most banned. I mean, it just gets everything done early on, and I think another big thing is just not too greedy with your supports where you can actually get stuff done around the map, and it's just, right now, Virtus Pro can't find the initiations they really want, and it's just really well executed from Vega, just not feeding in the lanes. They did everything perfectly, and, oh my goodness, Solo is just, you have a support Enchantress, 3rd on net worth right now, higher than your Ursa.
VP's gone for a 3-man smoke as well. It's just desperation time, and they didn't find anyone at home. They're going to go ahead and wrap back around the tree line, or the ridge line, I should say, near the Ancients. I like the thought process. They know they're really in a deep hole, 13,000 gold or so deep hole. And they've got to get something going, but other than desperation smokes, I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure Vega can just march down a lane and just be like, you know what, you can even try to outpush us. We don't care. We're just going to march us 5 down bottom. And that seems to be the approach.
No. this is going to be hard for them to defend, trying to figure out what initiation they can really do for VP. They kind of need to have G having a blink dagger and him hitting a miraculous, two-man shackle or something, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
And their heroes are tanked up to the point now that, that deep push that we had talked about, having the Nature's Wrath, having Power Shot and so on, that just is not even enough. Like, they're going to be able to tank towers with their heroes if they feel like it, and they have such good initiation, counter initiation. I don't know that they're just too worried about it, and we'll see if they're just going to, they're just going to go straight up to the high ground and it's fine. Here we go, Sprouts there. Again, 2 shots, and the problem is, there's going to be a jump by Yoku. Very quick save, and now it's going to buy Solo enough time to pull back. Battle's showing on the high and the low. Low dance. Golf does nothing but one stop before being brought down. And the rest of DP has to retreat. FNG almost died to it again. Mac's going to be there. He's already. He's trapped in the trees. Yoku's going to find him, able to focus him down, but not before a lot of damage is done. Solo is doomed, though. Aloha dance on the buyback, trying to make something happen in this fight. It might be enough to keep them together. As FNG being chased by the Necro Creeps, nearly died. Now it's no one who's by himself, manages to get himself out with the jaunt. Vega lost 2, 1 down for VP currently, but Aloha Dance again did buy back to make that happen. Roche is going to be respawning in 30, and it looks like Vega's just going to go ahead and lick their wounds and back up.
Yeah, that was a really good team fight for Vega until the Doom brought back, as you talked about. He was able to get the Doom, and then they're heavy committing past the towers, so eventually they were punished, but I mean, you're just going to have to be out yours. There we go.
Got him. And this is going to be a free one. Oh, no, never mind. Here we go. Yoku trying to get in and get something done. Doesn't matter. That's then able to secure the kill. And Yoku's going to be careful here. Everyone's back up from Vega. Okay, he's going to make it back to the loving embrace of his teammates. But, yeah, Roche, I would imagine, probably the next side of the next big battle, huh?
They just can't kill this Puck, man. I'm so worried for them. They get a shackle on him. They try to do everything. I mean, you even saw them trying to kill off Solo in that last team fight, and then you have Grave to work with. Yep. I'm just like, how do you kill all the sustain, all the survivability right now? And like you said, this Roche is going to be hot contention. I feel like if VP don't get it, it's lights out.
I feel like so rough about Dazzle and Enchantress. Enchantress is a hero who, when she's this far ahead and she's working on a scepter now, more than halfway there, those extra few seconds, even if you focus fight, even if you 5-man tunnel visioner, those extra few seconds at all, that you have at all because of Untouchable and so on and so on, anything you can do, she's like, unless you're just right on top of her all at once, she's going to be pounding damage onto somebody. And even if you do manage to bring her down eventually, the damage is already done. And I think Vega has really done a great job of that. Not that they've been able to kill so much at all. I mean, he's sitting at 1,600 HP, 6-1 and 6. A great game from him.
You're killing off the support Enchantress. You're just going to have a free roaming, Puck and Spectre. It's a lose-lose situation all around for VP, and
well, looks like Roche not going to be contested as VP.
Yeah, they have a nice vision around, scouting out where they are. They don't have to feel very pressured or insecure.
We have talked almost none about FN for the most part, other when he shows up in these fights. He's been looking pretty solid, but his net worth is still below the box. So FN with his Manta gun now going to Fusel, and I don't even know if he's going to have time to get it up. I think they one more. Look at their stats there for the kills, and they're like dead even with kills assists. They're 5-1 and 5-0, but just the Puck putting on his plane. He has Lincolns now. Oh my goodness. No one is going to be immortal. Here we go. We're going to engage. That Solo was sprouted in. Then Solo pushed in there to make sure that there's going to be a 1-man quarter. Well, Aloha Dance was caught. Here we go. in, and FN is actually in some trouble. Aloha Dance is going to be rolling. Hasn't used Doom yet. Can they bring him down before he gets the Doom off? No, he did manage to get it off. Now he's going to be chased back. Not that it matters tremendously. That's 2 down. Wind Rangers brought back. Don't know that it's going to matter as Vega still has all 5 standing plus an Aegis up on FN. So FN.
No one? Oh my, wrecked in the fountain. He's just styling on people. Please. Where's my puck go?
No, and now FN's going to come and be like, hey, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
This is my buddy.
Yep, this is garbage time as they're into the fountain diving phase. The fuse will play bot from the enemy fountain. So very typical stuff. GG. So Vega Squadron putting on a bit of a clinic here. Virtus Pro seemed like they came in with a game plan, but ultimately just unable to get items fast enough, unable to level up fast enough, and certainly unable to combat a really well-played puck and superior initiation on all fronts out of Vega.
You know what the exclamation on that game was? When you doom a puck Lincoln and you don't even get it off. That's just like, you lost. You just lost. Outplayed everywhere. Really well played from Vega. They just, really well drafted, honestly. It's like an 80 to 20% kind of draft when you're like, how the hell does Ursa do anything in these team fights? He's getting kited constantly. We saw how ineffective the Lion was early on. He was just going around with no boots for the 8 minutes, and he just couldn't get anything done. Aloha Dance, it was all on him early game to get something done with the Doom, but it's not an Earth Spirit, it's not a Bounty Hunter. You don't get that same effectiveness in lane, potential to kill people, so it just didn't work out for them.
I mean, when you look, the Wind Ranger mid didn't work out at all. G with another tough game, and it seems like he's had a rough couple of days, sitting at 0-6. The Lion, it's tough to lay it on No Fear, but 0-7, look at his inventory, man. Brown Boots Wand is what he finished with a teleport. It's just, again, there was...
All you need to do is, it's the same story as yesterday. You shut down G in the mid lane, and then all of a sudden, they have nothing. They have no follow-up, no backup plan, and it just all crumbles.
Well, that's game 1, guys. Vega Squadron takes the win in about 26 minutes. Virtus Pro going to look to shake it off and tie this series up. We'll find out if they can, but first, we're going to take a quick break. Then we'll check in with our panelists, see what they thought and see what they think looking ahead to game 2 on the C. That's Rio. We'll be right back.
Stomp. What? Stomp.